Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode, another show, I guess you could call it. But listen, thank you for coming back. I hope that I provide enough value, which is the reason why you all come back and keep watching these. So thank you very much for that. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to provide as much value as I possibly can, and hopefully you guys get something out of it. So today we're gonna be talking about something that is extremely valuable, especially in today's environment, with the COVID-19 thing that's going on with home values, low inventory, blah, blah, blah. I'm gonna provide a little bit of insight into all of this. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, feedback, or anything at all, give me a call or shoot me a text at 407-308-4518 or send me an email at peter@flreagent.com. Now, listen, we have two different sets of people. We have the seller that has a $1,000 house that wants to sell it for $5 million, and then we have a buyer that has $1,000 in their pocket and they want to buy a $5 million house. These two groups of people clash all the time, but they're clashing more so today than I think any other time in recent history. Why? Because people believe, mainly buyers and some sellers, they believe that the pandemic that we're currently in dictates the home prices to such an extent that the sellers could ask whatever they want for the property and people will buy, and buyers think that they could offer whatever they want for the property and sellers would accept. But that's not the case. Pricing in real estate is completely dictated by supply and demand. Supply and demand is dictated by a lot of different things, but let's just simplify it. Listen, it's dictated by how many homes are in the current market for sale right now. That's called months supply of inventory. So depending on the number of months of worth of supply or worth of inventory, that's going to dictate the pricing curve, I guess you could say. So think of it like this. If you have 7 months or above of inventory, in other words, if you have X amount of homes and it would take 7 months or more for every single one of those homes to sell, if no other homes come on the market, you're in a buyer's market. So you have high inventory, that means you have a downward pressure in pricing. If you have less than 6 months of inventory, in other words, it's gonna take less than 6 months for every single house to sell. If no other homes come on the market, you have a seller's market. So if you have low inventory, that means you have a high pressure on prices. And that's how it works. Now, a lot of you are thinking that because of this pandemic, buyers can offer whatever you want and sellers can ask for whatever they want. And at the end of the day, sure, you can make an offer of whatever you want. You're probably going to disrespect the seller if you're a buyer, and they're probably not going to want to do business with you. And if you're a seller and you ask, whatever you feel, not what the market suggests, but what you feel the property is worth, then your house is probably not going to sell, right? So currently, right now, we are in a seller's market. I know there's a lot of buyers out there that are looking for a deal, right? Because we're in a pandemic, nobody can sell, people aren't buying, people losing their jobs. I'm a valuable employee and I have a job, so I'm gonna offer $100,000, $500,000, $300,000 less than what the property's worth. I'm sorry, it doesn't work like that. Because of the V-shaped drop because of pandemics, remember the home values, they drop off really, really sharply and they go up really, really sharply during pandemics. It's a V-shaped. So because of that, it doesn't stay long enough to actually affect the market. So currently right now, we have 3.4 months of inventory right now, which means that we're in a strong seller's market. If you're a buyer and you're out there thinking that you're gonna offer $50,000, $100,000, $200,000 less for a house because we're in a pandemic and you want that COVID deal, right? Hashtag COVID deal. Listen, you want that? It's not gonna happen, right? Because we're still in a strong seller's market. And there's people doing studies and all over the place regarding this, whether it be by numbers, by statistics, history, whatever the case may be. If you look back at history, it's just not gonna happen. You're not gonna get that deal. And as a matter of fact, a lot of prominent individuals have come out saying the same thing. So a matter of fact, I'm gonna read something off to you from Freddie Mac. Freddie Mac came out and said, and I'm gonna read it off the screen here because I wanna make sure I get it right. They said, the fiscal stimulus provided by the CARES Act will mute the impact that the economic shock has on house prices. Additionally, forbearance and foreclosure mitigation programs will limit the fire sale contagion effect on home prices. We forecast house prices to fall 0.5 percentage points, 0.5%, to fall 0.5 percentage points over the next 4 quarters. Two forces prevent the collapse in house prices. First, U.S. housing markets face a large supply deficit. That's what I was talking about right now. We're in a seller's market. We have low supply. We have 3.4 months worth of supply. So they face a large supply deficit. And second, population growth and pent-up household formations provide a tailwind to housing demand. In other words, listen, when this crap is over, you know how many people are gonna rush to the market to buy because now they're all of a sudden the curfews are gone or the stay-at-home order is gone. All of a sudden, hey, well, listen, everybody's safe. We're gonna go buy homes. That's not necessarily the case, but that's besides the point. Different conversation, different video. But people are gonna flock to buy those houses that they wanted to buy before. And then finally, they say that price growth accelerates back towards a long-run trend of between 2 and 3% per year. So that's what it means is that it's going to go back from the drop of 0.5%. It's going to go back to an annual increase of 2 to 3%, which is the national average, right? So listen, if you are a seller, okay, do not think that you have to drop your price dramatically in order to sell your house. Listen, hold strong. There's people out there buying homes. Unless you absolutely have to lower your price because you have to do a fire sale. Listen, there's a lot of people out there that, will get that deal. If you're a buyer listening to this, you'll get the deal, because the seller has to sell because they have to move or they have to pay something off or whatever, then so be it. You're probably going to get the same amount of deal you do now as you would have any other time in the housing, in the housing market, let's just say a year ago, because prices have not sharply dropped. They just haven't. They're holding steady at this point. And if you're a buyer, listen, don't disrespect sellers by offering them $100,000, $200,000 less. Ask yourself, how would you feel if you were the owner of that property and you're selling it for $500,000? Would you be okay with a buyer telling you, hey, listen, we're in a pandemic, people are getting sick, a few people are getting sick. I'm going to offer you $100,000 less because you know what, you have to take it. We're in a pandemic. How the hell would you feel about that? And more than likely, you would tell the guy to kick rocks or the gal to kick rocks, right? So listen, think of that. You have to be fair to the market, but you have to also remember when you buy that house, you are setting the standard or part of the standard for that particular market in terms of value. So if you buy a house, lowballing them on purpose because of a pandemic, right? It starts to set a precedent and home values around you, including your own, are going to drop. So think about that. The implications are not just I'm going to, save a few bucks now. It's, oh, by the way, my home value is probably not going to be as high as I wanted it to be, in the future. So there's a lot of sides to this. So listen, I know I went through this really, really quick. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or anything at all, give me a call, shoot me a text, 407-308-4518. Send me an email at peter@flreagent.com. Remember, be fair and put yourself in their shoes, whether you're a buyer or a seller. Put yourself in the other party's shoes before you decide to either make a ridiculous offer or ask for a ridiculous price. All right? Until next time, we'll talk soon.